Steven Universe managed to create one of the most inclusive fandoms on the internet. But this also meant that the series featured some of the most controversial ships in recent memory.
Dad?
Shh, keep watching.
Despite being supported by the actual voice actors of Lapidot and Pearlmethyst, Lapidot went down as being one of the worst ships on the entire show, and for good reason.
You?
And now you want to see if we can cut it.
Yeah, I'm really curious, that you got Garnet, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the show itself doesn't even have any real romantic moments between these two. Ironically, I was a Lapidot shipper myself when the show was airing though, but that's only because I fell for all of the extra content that Rebecca Sugar and the Crewniverse kept pumping out, with the bandmates genuinely having fun and spending quality time together. Seriously, is this Lapidot scene taken from the actual show romantic in the slightest?
Are you okay?
How about now? Isn't it just a little bit insane that there isn't a single Lapi ship that wasn't based on a deeply unhealthy foundation? Well, except for...
Don't hold back!
Got it!
Let's play a game. Which one of these totally made-up Stevonnie ships is perfectly fine within the context of the show? Stevonnie x Kiki or Stevonnie x Kevin? For those of you who actually answered that question, I'm going to need you to give yourself up to the police right now. And if you didn't fall for my trap, then you're free to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I think it likes you.
It's not really gem quality, it's got lots of inclusions and stuff, but it's still hard.
Alright, just so you know, because I already feel guilty, I've been lying to you. Stevonnie x Kiki isn't a fan-made ship, it's canon. It was the focus of an official comic issue where Steven and Connie went a little bit too far, sending Kiki into a fate that I wouldn't wish on anyone: teenage depression. Created by Rebecca Sugar herself, Steven Universe issue number 2, in a really dark metaphor, explored the consequences of not being upfront with potential romantic partners about crucial details within our lives. The comic issue starts off with Steven tagging along with Connie to watch the movie adaptation of her favorite book series, The Unfamiliar Familiar, when they get rejected for being too young to watch the premiere without an adult. Naturally, the upsetting news that her favorite series chose to prioritize romances over properly adapting its compelling plot causes Connie to freak out. The duo decide to fuse in order for them to sneak into the movie anyway, but doesn't realize that Steven didn't have an idea of his own to fuse along with Connie's, leading Stevonnie to storm off and accidentally bump into a familiar face. Kiki becomes flustered by Stevonnie almost immediately and explains to them that she was shopping for a prom dress. Stevonnie, excited by the idea of trying on fancy new clothes, decides to shadow Kiki, leading to the two of them growing closer and planning to go together to Kiki's school dance later that night. Steven and Connie spend the day writing a list based on everything that they'd need to blend in at the prom and appear like a real teenager. Except they're not a real teenager. Rebecca Sugar confirmed that Stevonnie is the sum of Steven and Connie's ages, meaning that they were at least 27 during the story arc. And considering the fact that Kiki is only 17, with a little help from the crystal gem, Stevonnie gets themselves ready and escorts Kiki to the school prom. But things wouldn't go as smoothly as they'd expect. Stevonnie, finding it incredibly difficult to feel like they actually belong, loses their cool, causing Kiki to step in and ask them for a dance. You have to wonder what's going on inside of Sour Cream's mind right now. This is the second time that he's seen a questionable situation with Stevonnie play out in front of him. Oh, he doesn't care.
Nope.
Sour Cream beginning to play more romantic music causes Stevonnie to get a little bit uncomfortable. But when Kiki begins to get more touchy while asking them out on a proper date, they'd get extremely uncomfortable and run off into the hallway, coming undone quickly after. Steven and Connie begin to panic uncontrollably, realizing the serious situation that they've gotten themselves into, and wondering if they should tell everyone that they meet that they're actually two children fused together using alien space rock magic. Steven and Connie decide that Kiki doesn't deserve to know anything about their true identity, and after fusing again, they'd offer to keep hanging out with her as a friend. Kiki, after hiding the pain the best that she could, accepts Stevonnie's offer and plan to go see the Unfamiliar Familiar next week. What kind of twisted message is this? So Stevonnie is just going to keep taking advantage of Kiki to get what she wants out of her, while also not letting her know a secret that she definitely deserves to know. Great comic issue overall, but man, that ending just doesn't hit.
Man, I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
Do you guys remember Pearlmethyst? Did you ship Pearlmethyst? Do you ship? Pearlmethyst is one of those ships that just feels wrong even if it technically isn't. Pearl was one of the original members of the Crystal Gems, and she basically looked after Amethyst when she was still adjusting to living in Beat City among the humans. And being one of the original members of the Crystal Gems, Pearl was definitely written to behave like more of a big sister to Amethyst. I absolutely used to ship Pearlmethyst though. Before we knew about their complex backstory, and the gems were all just basically different versions of Steven's mom. Square Mom, Fun Mom, Bird Mom, and Steven Universe issue number 6, when it was released, only made me ship them harder. The comic issue starts off with Pearl being stressed out about having to look after everyone else on the team, when she decides to continue training with Hollow Pearl in hopes that the training would help clear her mind. Things don't go exactly as planned though, as they rarely do, leading Pearl to let Amethyst know about all of the pent-up frustration that she was holding onto recently, and admitting that she was looking for a way to let it all out. Amethyst then invites Pearl to wrestle alongside her as the Pink Panther, and with Garnet's blessing, the duo actually work incredibly well together, taking out the competition. They first face off against the Wolves of Wall Street. Purple Puma takes down one of the wolves herself, while the Pink Panther distracts the other long enough for Purple Puma to pin him down as well. After a pep talk from Purple Puma, the duo enter the ring with the Brothers Construction, one of the strongest wrestling teams in Beat City. The Pink Panther gracefully dodges one of the brothers' attacks and then goes in for a sneak attack but gets decked in the face by his elbow. Pearl, pinned down and already having a really rough week, almost decides to give up, but Amethyst in a really heartfelt moment lets her know just how much she's always respected her. This gives Pearl the motivation needed to get up and throw her competitor off the stage, leading Garnet to safely catch him. After the Pink Panther taps out, Purple Puma quickly takes down the second brother, leading the duo to enter in the ring with the actual strongest wrestling team in all of Beat City, the Good Looking Gang. The Pink Panther and Purple Puma, flawlessly working together, struggle during their fight against the Good Looking Gang at first, but eventually lose. Yeah, they end up losing. Amethyst and Pearl grow closer together as a result of their shared loss, and develop a newly found respect for each other's interests. Steven Universe was always a show that prioritized interpersonal relationships over its overarching plot, a fact that can be confirmed when you remember that Rebecca Sugar was basically willing to sacrifice the entire show to make sure that her vision on Ruby and Sapphire's arc was completed properly. The show choosing to value relationships over its plot wasn't inherently a bad thing. It's one of the many reasons that made the show become so incredibly inclusive in the first place, and because of this, I still think that Rebecca Sugar made the right call.